All right, we're live. GMGAG, everybody. Welcome to what's
Yeah.
going to be another great DevNTell. So if you didn't know, DevNTell is a 30-minute window for builders to showcase something they're passionate about or been working on in Web3. This could be an awesome project you've been working on, demonstrating and testing best practices, automation goodies, smart contracts, how to structure a project, so on and so forth. Basically, if you've got a passion for something, this is your opportunity to share with the Web3 community. And today I am ecstatic to have Albert, or also known as That Guy in Tech, on DevNTell to give us a overview of the latest and greatest from the world of DeForm. Albert, welcome. Perhaps you want to give our audience a bit of a background of just who you are and how you found yourself in the Web3 space and developer DAO.
Yeah, Narp, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's seriously an honor. I've been watching some of these episodes for a while now. So, huge fan of what everybody's been working on at Developer DAO. So quick background on me, I've probably been in the Web3 space full-time for almost 2 years now, before working on DeForm, which I'm super excited to tell you guys all about very soon. I was a developer advocate at Alchemy. I was making educational content, building the Alchemy University community, and then also just teaching people how to become blockchain developers. And then before that, I was a full stack engineer at a variety of different companies. Was working on education tech at one point with a company called Magoosh, and then was working on like full stack IoT hardware and software at a company called Samsara. And yeah, it's been a great ride joining Web3 full time ever since 2 years ago, and definitely have no regrets. Don't look back, and I think we're building something really cool in this industry.
Yeah, 100% to that. And yeah, and it's awesome to have you on. It's a pleasure to have you on as well. And I guess maybe a little background, like how did you find yourself in developer DAO? Like what gravitated you to join the community here?
Yeah, that's a great question. Oh man, this really takes me back. I think I remember Nader, tweeting about here's how you can start a DAO by creating like a contract with NFTs and then have people get membership through these NFTs. And at the time, it was kind of part of the, I guess, zeitgeist of the industry to explore DAOs and how DAOs could be run. So it was very interesting to just follow along with all of that, see, on the code side, like how things are set up, but also, even more exciting, I think it was the social side of like getting people from all around the world to be connected to each other, building this network that, probably never really was possible before, because you can have people meeting each other online, but then to have people kind of bonded by this like on-chain membership was something completely new. And so that was very exciting. I saw all of that and I was like, okay, cool. I'll mint an NFT and then, see where this goes. And it was crazy to see the momentum from just like a tweet from Nader to all the way to like, hundreds of people, thousands of people all around the world participating. And then, all the way to like meeting people at conferences and going to developer DAO parties and like all this stuff. So yeah, I think it's just been a very exciting time, especially for this DAO.
Yeah, I 100% to the sentiment there. I think it really hit home for folks once they transitioned from us hanging out in Discord to hanging out in real life, and it's like, oh, wow, this is actually really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's awesome to hear. So if you want, we can get right into the thick of it here. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what you have in store for us.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much. So I think what I'll do is talk a little bit about how DeForm came to be. And then I'll also do, of course, a product demo. So super excited to walk through that. But I have some slides, so I'll share my screen here. And let me see. Okay, everybody see that? Okay, cool.
Yep, good to go.
Awesome. So yeah, basically I'm going to talk about how DeForm came to be, do a demo, and then at the end, if we have time, we can do a Q&A and giveaway. And so how it all got started, I want to start with this picture of our co-founders, Kay and Catherine. They had met at a previous startup as the founding engineer and the first product manager at that company. They spent their holidays 1 year. It was about a year and a half ago, kind of churning through ideas in the Web3 industry. And this was funny. I remember this because I had just joined Alchemy about a couple months in. Catherine had just joined this company where she met Kay. And I was talking about DAOs, like Developer DAO, City DAO was one of the first ones that I explored also. And it was like, oh, this is so interesting. There's this social component. People are meeting each other online and they're working together. And that's kind of like, it spawned this conversation between Catherine and Kay and even at their entire company as well. And so they're like, wow, if there's this new kind of like community model or business model for organizations on the internet, there must be like new ways for people to organize, and there must be new tools that people use. And so one of the ideas that kind of like caught some traction early on was this idea called Mint Kudos. And so for people who have seen maybe the older DevNTell with Catherine, Mint Kudos is a project that they were working on a little bit earlier. And so, they raised some capital, took a leap of faith. We're off to the races building this initial company. And a fun fact is that Naruto actually helped Catherine secure the first $1 million in funding because she bonded about the anime, about this show with an early investor. So if you're curious about that, you can ask us more. So for people who don't know, Mint Kudos is this first project that the team had built. It's an NFT minting platform, and we gave it away completely for free. Actually, it's still live. You can still use it completely for free. And it has incredible adoption from some incredible partners, including Developer DAO. And despite the growth, however, what didn't sit well in hindsight is that the problem that it was solving is more of a vitamin and not really a painkiller, if you will, because people were looking at this, they were using it, and they were saying, yeah, this is really cool. It's an awesome thing that we have that, we just never had before, that you can like give out these badges, these certificates, these kinds of like reputation points, or these like attendance points, things like that. But it wasn't really necessary to the running of their organization or their community or their business. And so as a result, we weren't really confident on our path to like revenue as a business. So it's like, how do we justify that we keep existing? And then also, another point of reflection is like, we were kind of building on the cutting edge of Web3 for the sake of being on the cutting edge, thinking about how can we make like reputation better on chain, and how do we use like soulbound tokens so that people aren't like, over financializing this. I think there are some really good ideas there, but also it wasn't applied directly to some really, really crucial pain points. But regardless of that, kept building, kept our ears open and searched for some market pain points. And just kept turning along. And that's just like the natural cycle of startups, or starting something new anyways. And in parallel, I was, still at Alchemy full time. I was building Alchemy University with the awesome team there, with Vito and Alon and some of the other folks, Angelina, that you might have seen on Twitter. And this is an example right here of how we used Mint Kudos, actually. We were handing out these really awesome animated NFT badges to people who were completing the tutorials that we were putting out. So people could learn about, Lens protocol or DeFi applications, or, how to become blockchain developers and all the different projects they were building. So we really appreciated Mint Kudos. It really helped us, grow as a community and make sure that people felt, recognized for the hard work that they were doing to learn everything. And along the way, simultaneously, because I was like a user of Mint Kudos, and also Mint Kudos was trying to figure out like, how do they keep existing as a business? The problem discovery that just organically happened is that there's no way for people to collect info about their users and then also verify people's wallet addresses. And we experienced this pain point big time firsthand because, Alchemy University, we were sending out Google Forms, type forms, any other form we could get our hands on, to basically collect like information about, hey, what project did you finish? And can you share us your wallet address so that we can give you the NFT? And, is there any feedback you have on the Alchemy University program, things like that. But we would actually get attacked by bots all the time. Like our forms would have tens of thousands of responses. And, Typeform has like a limit. You have to really like actually pay for responses. So we were like, our bills were going up for like no real good reason. And then we kept having to add more questions to the Typeform. and the Typeform, and we would be asking stuff like, oh, can you tell us more about what you learned from the project? But then it would become really unscalable to actually like check everything because there's tens of thousands of responses. Anyways, it was a nightmare. And so that's when, we all kind of had this idea. And so I happened to be on vacation at DevCon in Bogota last year in October, and the Minkudos team went as well. And I was really itching to hack on something and build something again, like from scratch. And so I was like, okay, let's all hack together. And so we ended up hacking together on this idea, and we called it DeFormed because it's kind of short for decentralized Google Forms. And the idea is simple. It's like Google Forms or Typeforms, but with Wallet Connect. So you can log in with email, social, ETH wallet, whatever it is. You can create a form as a form admin, and then collect feedback from your community. And then you can analyze all of your responses, including NFT, token, and other on-chain activity. And so, the idea was pretty simple, but it came from this like burning need that we were both seeing. And it was really fun. We have some pictures here from the event. Right, top right here, that's the team that I hacked with. And then Kay and Catherine were very supportive. They helped guide a lot of the direction of everything. And it was a good time. Highly recommend going to DevCon. Too bad they're not having this one this year. So after that hackathon, we had launched the tweet, and there was, you can see here, it might be a little bit small, but we just got a lot of traction. Like a lot of people, I feel like this idea resonated with a lot of people. It just, even though it was so simple, it made a lot of sense. And so, the Minkudos team decided, hey, we're going to like reprioritize a little bit. Minkudos is still going to exist, but let's explore where this DeForm thing could go, because it seems like this is something that people really need. It's not a vitamin, it's a painkiller. And so DeForm was born. It's a Typeform with Wallet Connect that lets you look up the individual's Web3 assets and on-chain activity. So yeah, this time around, I think there are some like really interesting lessons to share with other people from Developer DAO who might want to be starting something new. What we're doing differently is that we're ensuring that we're building something extremely valuable and workflow critical at every step of the way. There's no guesswork. There's no like, okay, we think that the future of the industry is going to go in this direction, so let's just like build this big system and kind of like hope that it catches on. We're using money as a way to measure intent. Like we charged from day one, not as a way to like, oh, we're going to like make a ton of money, but it's really like a way of like a language to say like, hey, is this painful enough that you're willing to, number one, hop on a call with us with your valuable time as an early adopter. And then also number two, subscribe with this price point because it's so valuable to you to solve this problem. And, some lessons here: don't build a product for free. Your time is worth a lot as a developer, as an early founder, as someone starting something new. Don't build a vitamin, build a painkiller. So we basically started this pricing system, charged like from day one. And as a result, we were able to filter out the people who are like, oh, this is a cool idea, but I don't really need it. But I'm happy to help support you. And those people are awesome for sure. But then we also were able to bring on some incredible leading industry partners who've been paying since day one. Including, ENS. We're super grateful to be working with them. We actually have a really nice ENS integration that I'll show later. Alchemy, of course, they're able to use this now for the community and for marketing and things like that. But basically people who saw the product and they're like, yes, this solves such a big problem. We're willing to like pay, we're willing to work with you, be a design partner, give you feedback. And as a result, we are also, it's a two-way street. So we're like, okay, we would love to like build new features for you and make sure that we're solving your biggest problems first. So it's really good. And then something else that's interesting, that's kind of like meta to the product is, the team. I think being able to like have a team that is operating really quickly is super important. So we're actually taking this kind of semi-controversial approach of like building the team to be in person and co-located, not remote, for the beginning. I think we've seen this, we've kind of experimented a little bit. The remote culture, I think, is really great because we've been able to like work with people from all around the world. But then also whenever we are, on site together, like for a conference, or for some offsite, the most miraculous product developments or like evolutions in the product and the company have been in person. So I think we learned over time, like culture is super important for company building, especially at the early stage. I think once you hit some level of product market fit and you're kind of scaling, then I think it makes sense to specialize and like have departments and build out teams from in different parts of the world. But I think in the very beginning, it's definitely a competitive advantage if you can do it, to do it in person. And then of course, we're also upskilling ourselves to stay lean and efficient. I don't have the details here, but basically like everybody on the team is kind of expanding their skill set and trying new things that they've never done before. So I would say in general, that's just something fun about startups. If you're, into that and you want to learn in that way, wear a lot of different hats. So, people who have been focusing on backend engineering all their lives are now doing marketing assets as well. I was doing like community management stuff and content creation with Alchemy for a while, but now I'm going back to software engineering. So there's all kinds of, expansion and learning and upskilling. So it's pretty awesome. Okay, awesome. So that's kind of like quick overview. If anyone has questions who's watching live, feel free to comment or, tweet at us or something like that. I'd love to like answer at the end. So for the product demo, this is the site that we have live right now. You can actually even go to deform.cc. That's our homepage, but you'll be able to see it's under construction. Oh, it actually redirects. I didn't realize it redirected. But this is the homepage. So this is the homepage. When you log in for the very first time, it'll be a magic link. We just use that because it's like the fastest. So you log in and this is your workspace of all the forms you've ever created before. So you can see here, I have a bunch of different forms. You get a little preview of the number of responses per form. And these are all just demo forms that I kind of spun up. But you can see here, there's actually a logo upload. There's a title. There's, you could put a description with a link in it. And then you have a bunch of different question types that you can fill out. So it's kind of like a classic form creator flow, like Google Form or Typeform, any other form provider. You're gonna like set up these questions, ask people for some information, and people can fill them out. Now I'm gonna create a form from scratch so you can kind of feel everything from the beginning. So let me go back here. I'll click on create DeForm. And when you first create a form, we randomize this logo image so that you don't have to worry about uploading something right away, but you can always customize that. And then we're gonna maybe create a form. Let me bring up, have some a form prepared. So we'll do developer DAO, DevNTell, and everyone who can actually, I'll post this link live somewhere. Maybe we could put it in the video description. But would be great to fill this out for some feedback on the session, and then also promotion code for free usage of DeForm. So the coolest thing, this is the thing I got to get to ASAP, is Wallet Connect. I think this is the bread and butter of why DeForm started. But with Wallet Connect, you can ask something like, please verify your wallet address, and you can say, we will verify your DeForm NFT or code holdings. And I'll demo this with my account right after. And then you can say Twitter verify. We have Discord and Telegram as well, but Twitter is, kind of where we all talk. So this is a pretty big one. Please verify your Twitter handle. And then we might say like, we'll shout you out on or DM you if you're a winner for DeForm. Oh, and I'm gonna make these all required. And then we're gonna do a rating question. So you can see here we have a bunch of different, classic like form and survey question types. So short text, long text, email. These are all validations. So if you wanted to collect an email address, then you would use the email address question, and then it would DeForm would automatically check for you that this input string that the responder is inputting is an email type. So we can put a rating one, and then we might say, how much would you recommend developer DAO to a friend? And you can like change the range and stuff like that. And then we'll have a short text question. And the short text might be, please share a link to an example DeForm you've created. Actually, this one I think I'm going to change to have a validation of link. So that way it's a URL. And then we're going to get some feedback here. So long text. What is something you dislike about DeForm? I love this question because I really want to know about people's pain points as they're using our product, even in the early stages. What is something that excites you the most about DeForm? As well. And then, some feedback maybe for DevNTell. So who's the next guest you want to see on DevNTell? And then you can add a link in the question description here as well. So yeah, that would be an example form. Now, something that is also really, really cool that we've been working on. Oh, I'll also upload an image. I've got the logo prepared, DeVelopDAO. And yeah, there's something really cool that we've been working on that we are constantly iterating on. So if you're watching this from the future, it might be completely different by the time you see it, but we have what's called currently data lookups. So you can enrich your form responses with data lookups. And this kind of really leverages the on-chain part of blockchain. And so for all new responses, after you configure this data lookup, you're going to be able to automatically see information about what are their ERC20 holdings, NFT, ENS, this kind of stuff. So let's demo all three of these actually. So let's do a code token lookup, and we're gonna do ERC20 token ownership, and should be on Ethereum mainnet. That's correct. And I have the code token contract. Looked it up on CoinGecko. So DeVelopDAO code. We can click to copy that. Paste that in. And so what this will check for is, does the person who's responding to the form own any of the ERC20 token that's defined by this contract address on mainnet? So we'll save that. And then we'll do one for the for our NFT. This is also on mainnet. And we have this contract address. So it should be devs for revolution. And then we'll copy this address right here. So we'll copy that. And then there are some advanced conditions here. So you could check for like a specific token ID or a specific name or some specific metadata. But for now, we just want to check for ownership overall. So we don't need those advanced filters. We'll save that. And then also, of course, the ENS collaboration, we have ENS lookup. So any resolution on the primary name, the avatar, things like that. So I'll set that up as well. And that's it. So now we have these three lookups. And then on the settings side, these are some options for business plan, customers, people who are really, really spam and bot conscious. These are just tools to help with that. I know there are like probably better ways that we can implement this over time, but these are just the ones we've started out with. So reCAPTCHA is an option. People will have to, click on reCAPTCHA to make sure that they're not a bot. And then also, if you wanted to see the IP address of responders, that's also something that is an option. But of course, it's like default off because we're very privacy conscious. It's really like a tool for you to be able to filter out extra responses, because we've seen that has helped in the past, especially with tools like Typeform and other platforms. And then you can toggle, access to stop the form or open the form as you need. So yeah, that's the form setup. And we can actually see what it looks like when you click open form. There's this button right here, or share just copies the link to your form directly that you can share with other people. And so this is what it looks like. We have DeVelopDAO, DevNTell, we have the description, and then we have the OAuth buttons. So I'll just go through that. I can sign to verify. And what you'll see here is a message that makes sure people know that this is just a signature request. And also we have the form ID that matches the URL. We have the form ID field. You don't have to worry too much about that. That's just the question ID right here. And then also this is your wallet address. And we basically say, hey, this request will not trigger any blockchain transactions or cost any fees. So you sign that, and then you can verify your wallet, which is pretty cool. And then you can verify your Twitter handle. So you can see here also, basically, DeForm is asking for public information. So it's information that everyone will see anyways on Twitter. So tweets from your timeline, profile information, following information, that kind of stuff. So we authorize that, and you can see a verification. Yep, that's my handle. And then we can vote. DeVelopDAO is awesome. I'm going to give a 10 there. this field is for once you all actually try DeForm out, you can paste the link so that way I can see what kinds of different forms you all are exploring. And then what is something you dislike about DeForm? Yeah, what else? Oh, there's no GitHub integration. What excites you the most about DeForm? Connect to wallet. Who's the next guest you want to see on DevNTell? I think the Orb team is working on something pretty cool, so it'd be cool to get them on the show. Okay, so I filled out the form, and then, oh, actually, you can see I want to show a validation. So let's say I didn't fill that out. You can see here that will say, oh, this is required. You have to fill this out before you submit. But maybe you've missed it. It'll actually highlight it and then show you that as well. So classic form stuff, but we'll submit it. And then back in the responses, you can see actually we have one new response. So this will show you all the number of new responses that you have since your last download. You can download it here. We currently save everything as a CSV so that you can upload it into whatever other tools you need. But we're looking into other integrations here right now. And then we'll open that up and you'll be able to see the information that you might want to work with. So we have when the submission came in, what is the verified wallet address, what's my verified Twitter username. And then we also have all this information that we pulled. So it's pretty useful for a lot of communities that are trying to decide, prioritize which responses to process. So when was the Twitter account created at? Did they create the Twitter account just for this form? That's kind of a signal sometimes. Follower count, tweets, and then the actual question responses here. So you can see this is a link and there are some answers. And then here, this is the on-chain lookup. So does this person have the developer DAO NFT? And is it true right here? Do they have ENS set? So this person has a primary name set, an avatar set, some content hash, things like that. And then how many ERC20 tokens does this person have? And we have a couple of tokens in the wallet address here. So yeah, that's like the whole end-to-end flow. This link right here, I'll share with Narb, and I'll share it, I guess, after the call. But it would be great to, oh, not that one. That's the edit link. This is the public link. But yeah, it would be great to get people's responses here on this form so that you can actually experience it for yourself. But it's also completely free to get started if you just go to app.deform.cc/home. So yeah, this is the team right now. We are 5.5 people if you include the intern. And yeah, it's a really solid team. We've been having a lot of fun building this. And yeah, we've just been really heads down trying to make this, a really, really useful product for everyone. So wanted to give a special deal for developer DAO friends for the first 3 people who really want to try this out and use the complete business plan tier of features. Actually, I should talk about that a little bit. To my point earlier on for validating what's powerful or what's useful or not. This is the business plan that we started out with a couple of weeks ago. We didn't have any of these. We were just kind of figuring out our very first plan to begin with. But now we've released a couple of different plans to make sure that there's the right fit for the right people. Business plan has pretty much all the features. And then basic plan doesn't have some of the on-chain lookup stuff, but it's still very, very powerful because it has all of these authentication methods, plus brand customization, plus bot prevention, things like that. And then starter plan is what people could use for free forever. And it also has wallet verification, which is already the biggest jump from any of the other form products. So when you get started right now, if you sign up, it's basically business plan free trial for 2 weeks. So you can see the entire power of the platform. But if you wanted to keep going after those first 2 weeks, you can use this promotion code when you're checking out. And anyone who responds to the developer DAO DeForm, I'll also give you some special codes if you're really interested in that. So yeah, that's the whole demo. I know.
Beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. We got some questions from the crowd here. So Nate asks, what tool has helped you a lot recently as a software engineer?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I can cover like the stack that we're using is Next.js, React, TypeScript. We're using GraphQL, which is really fun. And then we do use a lot of AWS services right now just to get started really quickly. In our hackathon originally at DevCon, we explored a lot of like decentralized file storage and a lot of different like authentication methods. So we eventually want to add all of those things back, but in the very beginning, just to be like super scrappy and fast, we have to use some of these, cloud services just to get going. But I think it's like what's useful, first of all, in a meta level is kind of like knowing when to use which tool to like just get going really quickly and make something that people can use fast. But in terms of practical tools, to answer your question directly, I think I've been exploring GitHub Copilot a lot and ChatGPT. I'm sure a lot of people have played around with it, but it's actually very, very useful. I've had a number of cases where GitHub Copilot actually like helps me get a bunch of test cases started as soon as I write like a function or part of the like a component or something like that. And it's really magical. Like I think I tried it actually for the first time a month ago. And when it started working right away, I was like, this is crazy. This is insane. And it's not like it's writing the entire app for you, but it like really helps you speed up so you don't have to think about everything too much in detail.
Yeah, 100% optimizes your dev life.
Yeah.
It doesn't want that. Next question from Jake. Will you one day have a integrated dashboard that shows stats?
Yeah, Jake, that's a great question. We definitely want to add analytics. We've heard about this feedback a little bit already. People want to know, how often are people opening up my form and submitting responses, or maybe like dropping off and not completing all of the questions, because maybe that way I can kind of change the order of the questions or something like that. So at some point, it'd be great to have like in this workspace page, not just the forms, but also analytics. That's definitely something we're looking at. Would love feedback on, what types of analytics mean the most to you or matter the most to you. So, definitely tweet at us at DeForm. We don't have a Discord or anything, but if you tweet at us at DeForm app, the team's constantly monitoring that, or just any one of us. And that'll help us prioritize, which types of analytics you care about the most. Yeah, great question.
Beauty. And I guess one more question here. Shakar asks, how did you scale it up? I think you may have already touched on this, but I guess using a lot of existing Web2 tech helped you kind of build fast, right?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, I would say like, some might say we haven't really like scaled up to all the way yet because we're still getting early users. So everyone here is early adopter. All the early customers we're working with are early adopters. We definitely have like infrastructure in place, like of course using a traditional Web2 infrastructure that makes sure that we can serve a certain number of concurrent requests per second, so that if there's overwhelming traffic on DeForm, we can like kind of withhold that or withstand that. And I think there will be a lot of other really interesting scaling methods in the future, because eventually if we get to the point where we can decentralize the content a little bit more, have people kind of encrypt their own forms and form responses and have that stored in a decentralized way, that'll be like a whole other kind of like realm of scaling that is very exciting, that we do want to explore a lot.
Looking forward to it. And I guess to leave the show off today, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you if they have questions or they want to give you feedback, other than filling out the form that we will post out here shortly?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're very, very open to feedback all the time. So definitely reach out to any one of us on Twitter. I'm probably the most on Twitter. So, feel free to like DM me or tweet at me. This is my name on Instagram, on Telegram, on Discord as well, actually. So yeah, feel free to message me anywhere there. And then we also, if you prefer email, we have support@deform.cc. So that is support@deform.cc, just to type it out. You can email that, and then the whole company will get that as well. So yeah, definitely looking forward to feedback.
Excellent. And thank you so much for coming on, Albert. This was wonderful to see, and really inspiring to see how you guys were triggered basically by a real life problem to solve, and kind of inspired you to get going in a hackathon. But yeah, really looking forward to seeing the team build out DeForm. And if you ever want, you're more than welcome back on the DevNTell platform to give the round 2 update.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Narv. It's really been a pleasure to come, and yeah, would love to visit again someday.
LFG.
Oh,
Before we leave off here, I just wanted to make a little note about our operators in DeveloperDAO. So did you know that DeveloperDAO's fundraising operators, Chuck and Wickus, are here to help you fundraise for your projects? In their fundraising hub on Discord, you can find support in running grant applications, learning about fundraising, budgeting, pitching. They can even introduce you to grant leads from different protocols. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, be sure to drop by their office hours that's held twice a week, or schedule a one-on-one with them. And with that, I want to wish everybody a very happy Friday, happy weekend, and we will see you here next week. And I will be dropping a link for the POAPs in the chat here, as well as in the DeveloperDAO server. And yeah, with that, I want to say see you later, and catch you back here next week.
awesome.
All right. Cheers, gang.
GM.
GM.